Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Bungaku Shoujo, or Literature Girl, or
Book Girl.
Book Girl, depending on what you want. I mean, like the original adaptation, the original name for it is Bungaku Shoujo. That's the literal name of it.
But don't look it up because you're going to get the wrong one.
Well, I mean, it was hard to find. And there are... It was hard to find.
So in preparation for this,
thank
Jack,
you for leading it away. But yeah.
Sorry, go for it. I keep forgetting. I'm excited to get what I want out there, you know?
I understand 100%. I understand you. Don't worry. No worries.
I'll let you go first. Sorry.
Thank you. Before all this, we were talking about PVC, we were talking about pipe, we were talking about syrup, the Bleach manga, a couple of other things. If you want to catch a part of that water conversation, patreon.com/featured anime podcast. And now onto the meat and potatoes. Bungaku Shoujo, or Book Girl, came out in May 2010. A couple of producers for it are Pony Canyon, Lantis, Kadokawa. It is came out May 2010. Studio for it is Production IG. Genres for it are drama, mystery, romance, school, and I would throw in psychological in there. And it's based off of a light novel with a runtime of about an hour 40 minutes, hour 41 minutes,
roughly.
Yeah. I threw in the psych. I didn't see anything that said psychological for it. However, I would most assuredly throw. I would definitely throw that in there.
At any point in time, did you think you were lost in the movie? Not necessarily where you were watching it, but at any point in time, did things didn't make sense?
Well, it's not that it didn't make sense. I mean, like what I think it is, I think it's more so like I kind of had this expectation because how it starts off, how we're introduced into this is, you see, you have a boy standing or walking out there just kind of meandering along, and then he sees a girl sitting underneath the tree, and then he sees her eat a page or not a full page, but just like a little piece of a book. Right. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was going to be a standard love story is what I thought it was going to be. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very wrong.
So before we get in too far into it, I'm going to tell you what I thought, because I'm afraid that by the time we get to what you thought, I'm going to chicken out because it's going to sound crazy. But when I was watching this, about four separate times, I thought, he's crazy. This is legitimately all happening in his head. He's in a hospital. He's in a coma of some kind. This isn't real. Like, all these scenarios that are happening around him, he's passed out. This is a manipulation of some kind. And like there was an accident and the person he's trying to find is actually him. So to explain, this guy shows up and I assume he's the main character. And you're right. He sees this chick just eat a page of a book and she's like, it's delicious. I'm a literature girl. Yeah. And like that's her introduction. I'm a literature girl.
Well, I mean, like she asks if he saw it. First of all, she's like, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" I mean, when someone asks me that if they're eating a page,
the answer is no, and you walk away.
No, I saw nothing. I didn't see what you did.
Exactly.
I saw absolutely nothing.
I'm going to use a phrase one of my friends says. He goes, "I don't work in a bank. I'm not a teller."
I mean,
I didn't see nothing. I don't know nothing.
Right. I mean, it works, but then they don't tell you, right? It's his first introduction. And I don't know if I missed it.
Nope, you didn't.
Okay. The time leap, like a little subtitle that didn't appear anywhere where it was letting you know that a couple of years had passed since that fateful meeting. Like
there was a lot of things in here that didn't happen that led to me thinking that it's all happening in this guy's head, because randomly people will come out and the dialogue was really off. I'm your best friend. I'm always here for you. I will do what I can. Do you need help?
Yes.
No, man, I'm cool. Thanks, though. Not even high. Just, and then later on, you get flashes of someone dying or jumping off, and you're like, where's the context?
Right.
How does that make any sense?
Right. So when I first saw that, the build up for it and the reaction to the certain stories and everything like that, like I knew that it wasn't in his head. I knew that it was definitely more along the lines of, he underwent a very traumatic experience and it was kind of like a PTSD type situation, and he was blamed, and he just has a lot of built up anxiety and depression, and we're not told about this, but we'll probably eventually find out. That's what I initially was thinking. And honestly, I mean, like it kind of results in that, like kind of
sort of. I mean,
I know that
you're far better at this than I am when it comes to like guessing the plot of a show, because when I saw that happening, I was like, oh, okay, he needs to go through that door to realize the truth of the matter. He needs to make that last little like step. He needs to go to a place that he's afraid of going, because like when he was being read a book, he's like, I can't listen. Oh God, it's hurting. I can't do it. And it was psychologically messing with him, and it was resonating, and the sounds and everything was echoing. And I was like, holy crap. Okay. So he's in a coma and he's trying to help himself out, but he can't. And in order to get back to reality, to wake up, to become better, he's got to overcome. So I was like, all right, cool. This is how the arc is going to go. So he's going to.
The second you said reality, come back to reality. Oh, Snope, there goes gravity. This is what popped in my head. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
It's like we just start busting out.
I'm a lyrical analysis or whatever.
You're a lyrical genius. I got you.
Yeah, no, I have no clue what I'm saying. But so I was thinking, okay, he's in a coma. I've seen this plot before. And everyone around him is very robotic. Everyone, he's got one person who he can count on.
You've seen this before. Hang on.
We have?
No, you said, I've seen this before. You've seen this plot line where the guy is in a coma and everything's robotic because of it. I'm not talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer where they threw that horrible ending out there. Like what anime or show have you seen where that is the premise? I personally haven't seen a premise. Huh? Who, what?
Touched by an Angel.
Okay.
Granted, I grew up on this show, so one of the storylines was essentially the angels had to help this guy go to the light, and going to the light was entering his home, and he had to cross the threshold. And then he woke up and, oh, hey mom, and hey dad, and I was hit by a car. What? So I was thinking, falling off of the building was not suicidal; it was accidental, and either that or he was pushed by someone who he was very close to. And so the psychological trauma kept him locked in this thing. And the chick eating pages was to symbolize the stories that he was writing to kind of keep himself in this world. That person that he counted on.
Super stretch, dude.
Hey, but it doesn't it sound like a really strong plot that would work for a movie?
You know what, man? You can pretty much turn anything into a movie, so why not?
True. So I was thinking that the person eating the stories,
all that from that scene, like from the scene.
That scene ties it in.
Okay, I got you. Okay, man.
So I kept referencing.
My mind never even went there. Like honestly, like none of the signs, none of what I had saw or anything. Like my mind never went.
He was crazy at all.
Him?
Yeah.
I didn't think that he was in a coma and imagining everything. My mind never went there.
Well, that was one of the scenarios I hit. And my focus for that was whenever he would stop talking to somebody, they would disappear. Like you wouldn't see them leave. Like traditionally, when someone like, all right, later, they'll say goodbye. And this is what I mean by the dialogue was so weird. They didn't say hello most of the time when they'd start talking to the main character, and they didn't say goodbye.
Well, you're usually coming in halfway through the conversations, but he's walking in.
That's why it kept throwing me off.
He was walking in for the book girl and said hello to her within the first few seconds.
And that's what made
And
me think that she was part of his psyche trying to help him,
okay,
because he
but
acknowledged
he's
it. And
also said hi and hello to a couple other people. He also was interacting with a couple other people, and he showed up late to a date that he was having with one of the characters.
all right, so maybe I wasn't paying. Maybe I was too focused on trying to figure out the plot that rather than to watch the story,
You know what,
like
sir? You
Forest
were
for the Trees kind of thing.
you were focused on the delicious stories, like
Well,
our main protagonist Toko
that made
would
no
eat.
sense.
What? Well, you know
She
that,
would eat the page and be like, "This tastes like this. This tastes like that."
right?
And
Yeah.
she was accurate too. She was like, "This tastes like a story I once heard. Let's go to the library and find this book you plagiarized,
She
or
didn't
that
say
was
that.
plagiarized."
He was talking about a story, or she was talking about a story, but she didn't taste it and talk about it. Like he had told her about a story, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, this is about this story, or this is like this." The stories, or what she was eating, were stories that she had read, and ones that he had written specifically for her. She would taste and enjoyed. And to clarify the plagiarism, he never plagiarized any of his stories.
True, but I thought he was the one with the yellow tomatoes.
Yeah.
I thought that he had wrote something similar.
He did. He did write something kind of similar to it, and they do reference it. However, it wasn't a plagiarization, and while the concept was based off of it, he didn't copy it word for word. And so what he did was,
Oh yeah, no.
he made it his own, which is pretty normal.
Okay, well, what I thought was and then you have this character who's pivotal for this whole thing for everything to fit together, who doesn't show up for like the last 30 minutes of the show or the movie.
Are we talking about the Mayu?
Yep. Yes, we are.
I mean, she was there like halfway through it. She started appearing or was referenced a good portion into it. And I understand what you're talking about, like how when she didn't. So I understand what you're saying in terms of plagiarizing and knowing what something was. It had to do with the drawing that was being put in there, and the drawing she saw for the first time. He wanted to blow it off and say, no, it's just someone playing. And she recognized it from one of the stories.
Yeah. And that's why I was thinking, and this just goes to credit why I was like, so she's trying to help him wake up. Like, oh no, look at this. This is from real life. Don't dismiss this. Let's put these pieces together. Let's move forward. She was trying to help him when I couldn't see a correlation.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of people you're not supposed to really see the correlation. That's why it's labeled a mystery. You're supposed to try and figure everything out to go with it, you know?
I was trying to figure it out. I figured and mystery, but what kind of twist am I looking for? And I kept trying to find different kind of twists. And I went from he's in a coma to he's a schizophrenic to he's a liar to he has multiple personalities, which I think is different than schizophrenics, but I don't really know that much.
I am not I am not acutely aware of mental.
I don't know the
Englishes.
terminology that well. Yeah. I don't know the
I know enough to be a danger to myself. Keyword to myself.
Well, it's good that you say that and you left out danger to others, because that's where you got to be put away.
No, but for this, honestly, they do reference a lot, right? In terms of mental illnesses and things like that.
Oh yeah,
and obsessive compulsive disorders and things like her eating pages. You know, there are people that obsessively have to do that. You know, there's and you know, and same thing with how he is, right? He's had such an ingrained relationship with Mayu for years, and I want to say they kind of had a codependent relationship. He depended on her for the entertainment and stories and relationship portion of it, and she relied on him to break her out of it. And she was worried that if she didn't have interesting stories, that he would just leave her. And at the same time, she loved, but also wanted to manipulate him so that way he wouldn't be with anyone else, stay with anyone else, look at anyone else. And so the second he even tried venturing into stories that she had plagiarized, that Mayu had plagiarized. It was almost like she was going to straight up murder him if he opened up the book that had the story in it, you know?
Yeah. The glare, the eye, the hidden knowledge you mustn't have. Again, leads me to go with, what's the mystery here? Why can't you read it? Oh, because it'll tear apart your delusion. And then, of course, she disappears out of nowhere.
Well, no, she doesn't disappear out of nowhere. She takes a few steps back, right? And then they do a scene transition into another. But I mean, like that's typical though for a lot of things. I mean, a lot of movies that are like that, you know, it's like scene transition.
I agree.
They're transitioning into another one.
I agree with that, but something about this didn't feel right. And then because of the mystery tag, I kept going to all of my scenarios. Like, what are they trying to trick me with? If this is a mystery, what's the mystery? And I was going way deeper than the surface level mystery that was there. Who is so-and-so? That was the mystery. What's their relationship? That was the mystery that you found out relatively easily. You know, who is putting stuff in the mailbox? All right, cool. And then when he went to a tabloid and he went to a convenience store that had a tabloid saying that so-and-so famed author committed suicide. And he was tore up about it. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay.
Right. So
only to find out later on that this famed author was him.
Yeah. Yeah. But can I don't know.
You can, by all means, because I'm still trying to work my way through this and it's not.
So I feel like you only saw key parts of the headline, right? And that they purposefully left out part of it to help kind of play that mental game on you. Because I think what it was is because he's obviously still alive. The author doesn't, you know, is still around. And people kept asking, when is this author's second book going to come out? And everyone keeps talking about this author's second book or second novel. And it's in reference to him still. And it's in reference to that story. So I think what they did was they purposely left it ambiguous and found someone that had that name that attempted suicide. And, you know, like a lot of tabloids headline, blah, 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 attempts suicide. And all he focused on was suicide. So-and-so, suicide. And those are the key words that you see. You're not looking at anything else.
And I think it was a good diversion. But this chick, goddamn, how many ways can you die? She failed every single time. I want to point that out. But she made more attempts than Goku to die.
Well, she true attempts. She made 3.
Okay. And false attempts?
Well, not false attempts. She made 3 attempts. She threatened another time.
Okay, that's fair.
Right. So
that is a fair distinction.
So it's not so much that she made a solid attempt. She ended up surviving the first one. Hence the attempted suicide. Right. Severely injured. Who knows how long she's actually been in the hospital. However, I think the whole time that she's been in the hospital, she's actually been faking it.
Yeah.
I'll lead up to why I say that in a minute. The second time she tries to jump off. Now I finally understand where the 2 people standing on the building in white comes from. Never knew before. Now I know. This is it. If you're ever wondering, 2 people are jumping, and then homeboy pins her up against the railing and save her. That's it right there. This is the movie. Mystery solved for anyone wondering. And then the third time she attempts suicide, she jumps in front of a building or not a building. Sorry. Jumps in front of a truck, and the truck driver.
I can jump in front of a building all day long. It ain't going nowhere.
You know what, dude?
Hell, I'll do you one better. I'll jump in front of like four buildings.
Well, if
walk away unscathed.
Hang on. If they're falling forward and you jump in front of it, I don't think you're going to come out unscathed. Technicalities, but
technicalities, yeah.
That's not the point.
I mean, technically, if you want a mobile home, is technically a building. If you,
I mean, like anything that you live in can technically be, you know, a home in a building if you want it to be.
Home is where the heart is.
but she
Whose
jumps in
heart?
front of a truck and the truck brakes and stops. And since it was snowing, it helped cushion the blow even more. So, she got away with minor
that's
injuries.
the story. That's the story. I watched this thing plow through where she was.
To
What
be
I mean
fair,
by that is,
you didn't
if we slowed it down, you'd probably see a...
You saw nothing. You know why?
I was going to say, to be fair, you probably see like a poof. Like the animators probably were trying to be slick. And in one frame, I don't know this for sure because I doubt it happened, but in one frame, there's like blood mist where her body was. That thing was flying.
Snow mist.
Yeah. Snow mist that's red.
Look, sir, just because you wanted it to be a coma type situation where this was all a very bad dream for a main protagonist.
It only makes sense that way because all the other crap doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense. You have someone that's very, very manipulative and spiteful, angry at Konoha, the main male protagonist, angry at his progression, at his ability to write. Okay. And she even states this. She loves him, but hates him. And she never even thought about his success, him being able to be there, right? Or grow in general. And he ends up winning. And she submitted a blank manuscript, never even thinking that it would matter. And then she's pissed off because he actually did grow, move past, and expand beyond. And she had nothing original to write.
I don't know if it was the original part that messed her up.
She was, no, I'm saying like it's all compounding onto it.
Oh, okay.
And that was just like, I have nothing. I'll just submit it and it's not going to matter and this and that. And then she sees that he writes an original story, writes his own story, and it wins an award. And he's only 14 years old at the time or whatever.
So because her surname was his pen name, they just assumed it was her. And the other guy's like, of course it's her. She's as great as you can get. Well, didn't even question if it was his or not.
Well, they were just... Right. Well, they were just doing like kind of a correlation in between the two. They saw the name, saw someone attempt suicide, and they were like, it could be this person. But they never knew that it was actually him. And they never knew who it actually was. They just knew it was a mysterious person with a very particular pen name.
Mm-hmm.
But Konoha, he honestly is, I want to say, his indecisiveness and his overall personality, I feel like, is what helped contribute to her being like that too. Okay. And then at the same time, like he starts falling in love with Toko, and he's also got like kind of like a little bit of a thing for the other girl that he went on the date with. I forget her name.
Yeah. I mean, so what you're telling me is he just needs to activate his harem jutsu.
Yeah, and everything would have been fine. 100%.
I mean, at least this anime character, at the very least, pursued women, got a kiss, and, wasn't a complete loner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so he still loves... Did you watch after the credits?
I did.
Okay. Very good. So, I mean, so we have the beginning, we have a time skip, we have the movie, then we have another little time skip, I guess, towards the end of the movie. And then we have another time skip at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So
to show everything's been better, I guess.
I don't
been
know.
better, getting better. It's almost there.
I understand what they try. They're like trying to. Who's he talking about? It's like we already know who the hell he's talking about. He's talking about Toko. At the end, it's like, come on. He's not talking about Mayu. That train has sailed. Mayu has moved on to bigger and better things. He's moved on to bigger and better things.
About trains. We don't want to talk about trains. This lady jumped in front of a building, jumped in front of a car. Next thing's gonna be jumped in front of a train. One of them's gonna get her.
Whoa! Hang on. So here's what I was gonna say, right? In terms of why I think she was faking it the whole time after her being in the hospital. Why she was faking, pretending, and being in the hospital the whole time. After that little mini time skip, right, where Toko's at the university and they show everyone kind of like moving on. They show Mayu in a room with a bunch of other kids reading a book to them.
Okay.
No crutches or anything in sight.
Well, I mean, no.
And it didn't look like it was in a hospital setting either.
No. So she's out of the hospital. Right. Their final fight. So when the chick slaps her, right?
Right.
In the hospital, she was pretending to be mentally a child again.
And physically
got
incapable as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she got smacked. And when she started fighting back, she got up out of the wheelchair that we thought she was stuck in.
Actually, she got water doused on her and she smacked the
Yeah.
other girl and they started fighting then. Yeah.
And
But
so
what
she
I-
got
I'm
out of So yeah, she was definitely faking her injuries. 100%.
right.
But you can't prove, at least not easily, that someone can't manipulate a portion of their body by choice.
Say that again.
Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but you can't prove that they're unable to move their body on their own.
That's why I said she was faking it, because after that, right? So I would have been totally, understandable. She still has to have crutches and to move around, right?
Mhm.
Like I kind of figured that she was using the crutches and everything, and she used it as a manipulation
As a
tool.
crutch.
I know a lot of people that use them as manipulation tools. Okay,
I've seen House.
so have I. But
But she didn't jump in front of him.
right. But the reason why I say that she was faking it the whole time is because she was reading the books to those kids and there wasn't anything to show that she had anything there to help her move. Normally, if you have to have crutches, you're going to keep them close by within arm's reach so that way you can grab them and move around at that point. Same thing with the wheelchair. She had neither in frame for it. Now, granted, there was another side character that we only saw a couple of times that I would assume was supposed to have a bigger role. Never did. Is
Maybe.
probably going to help bring him to her, but I'm guessing it's more so that he actually was in love with Mayu and wanted to be with her. And so he and her are now dating.
Mm.
And she's done playing the I'm a victim, I can't move, walk, or whatever game. That's my theory.
I mean, it sounds plausible. It definitely sounds reasonable. Way more reasonable than my he's just crazy theory, But like aside from the oddities of the movie, kind of lackluster,
It was.
I didn't really get a good finish, if you will, out of it. And the opening, they kept jumping forward and back in time so often. It was very confusing. And there was no visual or written cues to indicate that that's what they were doing, other than potentially the hairstyle of the people.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. I mean, story wise, I honestly really don't have too much more I can talk about. I have nothing else to really say.
Sadly, I'm right there with you.
I will tell you this, man. I did not like the facial animation.
I wasn't going to say anything,
I mean,
but I didn't like a lot of the animation, facial or otherwise. Not a huge fan.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. Some of it looked nice. There were a couple of scenes that looked good, but that's about it. I mean, like nothing else really kind of spoke to me in that manner.
An hour and 40 minutes, I can count on one hand where I was actually more than okay. And I'm not even talking impressed, but just like not, all right, let me look away on one hand,
Okay.
So yeah, they definitely didn't dump their budget into the visual.
Okay.
Don't know where the budget went, but yeah, no, I couldn't. I think it's about time for a rating.
Indeed, sir. So on a scale of up to 10, how would you rate this?
This one for me gonna be about a 4.
Okay.
I wouldn't quite. It wasn't horrible, but it's not something that I would comfortably be like, hey, Jack, you should totally watch this. Like it'll be a good thing for you. But again, it's not my genre to begin with. I don't necessarily go after a thriller, or I don't necessarily go after mystery, So it's a 4.
It's a 4?
The audio was decent. The visuals not the best, but I've seen worse.
Okay.
And the story was very confusing to me. And you, sir?
Oh, mean. The animation honestly really bugged the living crap out of me. Like it made me not want to watch this.
Okay.
I do think the psychological aspect of it, the manipulation and everything like that did play a big part in it, which helped the story along. I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 3. I mean, like that's about it. I mean, the depiction of how a person can be manipulative and everything like that is great. However, after a couple of, oh, my heart's broken type thing, they
They overplayed their hand.
It was greatly overplayed. Everything over here was overplayed. I mean, it's my personal experience. I can honestly like seeing the results and outcomes and things like that. Honestly, things don't change overnight. I'm sorry, but they don't. And this is and everything in here. You know what? Wake up the next day. Ohio, everything's great now. Thank you. So yeah, that's why. That's what I'm going with. All right.
Sounds good.
So next week's choice is another
mystery.
No, well, you know what? Good. It is a mystery. Hang on 1 second.
It's a mystery, and we gonna solve it.
It's a mystery. What is next week's choice gonna be? I wonder.
Choice.
It's a movie, Millennium Actress. That's what we're doing.
Millennium Actress.
Yes.
All right, let me take a look and see what we got there.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you appreciated this week's choice. I know we really didn't appreciate it all too much, but you know what? That's okay. To each their own. If you feel like we got something right, something wrong, did it too much justice, not enough justice, or anything else, feel free to let us know. You can get all our contact information, where you can help support us and everything like that. All that's going to be available on our site, featuredanimepodcast.com. We do appreciate any support that you could give us, including on our store, shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. Bonus content, everything like that. Patreon.com/featuredanimepodcast. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick. And we'll see you next time.